Hello there, a very good evening and welcome to your prime time news bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
I'm Sonali Vanigabadage. Let's start off first with a look at tonight's headlines.
R. Sambandhan appointed opposition leader. Anil Kumar Dissanayake appointed chief opposition whip. Parliament approves the increase of cabinet ministers. JVP Nationalist MP Sarath Mayadunna announces resignation from parliamentary seat. Information comes to light that employees of the Lanka security services were deployed for presidential election campaigning activities.
TNA Parliamentary Group Leader and Trincomalee District Parliamentarian R. Sambandhan has been appointed as the opposition leader of the 8th Parliament. Speaker Karu Jayasuriya made this announcement when Parliament convened for the second day today.
As the United People's Freedom Alliance has written to me, citing that it will not make any request for the post of opposition leader of the 8th Parliament of Sri Lanka, I inform this House that I accept Parliamentary Group Leader of the Ilangai Tamil Arasu Katchi, R. Sambandhan, as the opposition leader.
විපක්ෂනායක ධූරයේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් ලිඛිතව මන්ත්‍රීවරු 56ක් අත්සන් කරලා
56 MPs from the UPFA signed a document pertaining to the post of opposition leader and handed it over to the chairman of the party, President Maithripala Sirisena, 2 days ago. We requested for Kumara Walgama and also requested that Mahindananda Alutgamage be appointed as the chief opposition whip.
ඉල්ලීමක් කළා. විපක්ෂනායක තෙරීමේ බලය තියෙන ඔබතුමාට. මෙතෙන් ඒ බලය අභියෝගයට ලක් කරන්නේ ඔබතුමා තීරණය ප්‍රකාශ කළා හමාරයි. එතුමාගේ බලය අභියෝගයට ලක් කරන්නේ ප්‍රස් කරන්න බෑ. ඒක කියන්නවත් මෙතන ඊඩක් නැද්ද? මේක ඡන්ද පොලක් නෙමෙයි. ඡන්ද පොලක් නෙමෙයි අපි දන්නවා මේක පාර්ලිමේන්තුව. මේක සම්දානය අපි සම්දාන ජනතා නිදහස් සම්දානයෙන්
The United People's Freedom Alliance has sent a letter to you noting that it cannot be accepted at this moment, and reasons were also provided for that. There is no point in speaking here on the principles of that decision. You should have spoken about it with the President yesterday in Polonnaruwa. This is not a task for us. You cannot speak here as if you are here for the first time. We will not work like the previous Parliament. Everyone has to work together. Please do not act in this manner. Please be seated.
තුමාගේ තීන්දුව අභියෝගයට ලක් කරන්න නෙවෙයි මම නැගිට්ටේ. මන්ත්‍රීවරු 56ක් අත්සන් කරලා ලියුමක් දුන්නා පක්ෂ සභාපතිවරයා හිටිය සම්දාන සභාපතිවරයා හෝ ලේකම් ඔබතුමාට ලියුමක් එක්කලා නැහැ. ඒ සභාව මන්ත්‍රීවරුන්ට කතා කරන්න දෙන්නෙත් නැහැ. මන්ත්‍රීවරුන්ට එළියට බහලා යන්න. මේක පුදුම තත්ත්වයක් නේ. මෙතුමා කිව්වේ ලිපිය දීලා තියෙන්නේ එක්සත් ජාතික නිදහස් සම්දානයේ සභාපතිතුමාට. ඔබට නෙමෙයි. ඔබතුමාව සභාපති කරොත් ඒ ලියුම බලන්න පුළුවන්.
Let's now take a look at the career of the new opposition leader of Parliament.
Rajabarothayam Sambandhan was born on the 5th of February 1933. His father, A. Rajabarothayam, served as a superintendent of the Gal Oya project. He is also related to the MPs S. Sivabalan and N.R. Rajabarothayam, who represented the Trincomalee district. R. Sambandhan was educated at St. Patrick's College, Jaffna, St. Anne's College, Kurunegala, St. Joseph's College, Trincomalee, and St. Sebastian's College, Moratuwa, and later entered Law College. R. Sambandhan, who entered the legal profession, joined the Ilangai Tamil Arasu Katchi and entered active politics in 1956. Sambandhan contested the 1977 general elections under the TULF and entered Parliament, and also served as the co-treasurer, deputy chairman and general secretary of the party. R. Sambandhan boycotted Parliament as a mark of protest to the 1983 Black July incident and lost his parliamentary seat as a result. He later contested the 1989 general elections from the Trincomalee district. However, he was unable to enter Parliament that time around, but re-entered Parliament in 2001. He led the TNA at the 2015 general elections and the ITAC won 16 parliamentary seats. Incidentally, Rajavarothayam Sambandhan is the second Tamil-speaking opposition leader in the country's history after Appa Pillai Amthilingam.
R. Sambandhan is the 19th opposition leader of the country. Here's a look back at the opposition leaders in Sri Lankan parliamentary history.
Dr. N.M. Pereira was the first opposition leader in Sri Lanka. Dr. N.M. Pereira, representing the Lanka Samasamaja Party, was the opposition leader of the country from 1947 to 1952 and 1956 to 1959. Later, S.W.R. Bandaranaike served as leader of the opposition from 1952 to 1956. The opposition leader from March to April in 1960 was the SLFP's C.P. De Silva. Dudley Senanaike served as leader of the opposition from 1960 to 1964, while Sirimavu Bandaranaike was the leader of the opposition from 1965 to 1970. It was Sirimavu Bandaranaike who once again became the leader of the opposition from 1989 to 1994. Between 1970 and 1977, J.R. Jayawardena served as leader of the opposition on 2 occasions. R. Amirthalingam from the TALF was the opposition leader of parliament from 1977 to 1983. Anura Bandaranaike became the opposition leader from 1983 to 1988, and from August to October of 1994, Gamini Disanaike served as the opposition leader. Ranil Wickramasinghe held that post from 1994 to 2001 and from 2004 to 2015. The SLFP's Ratnasiri Wickramanayake was the opposition leader from 2001 to 2002, while Mahinda Rajapaksa served in that position from 2002 to 2004. Nimal Siripala De Silva served as leader of the opposition from January 2015 to June 2015 until R. Sambandhan was appointed as the new opposition leader.
Speaking to News First, leader of the opposition R. Sambandhan noted that they had reached a decision to hand over the position of chief opposition whip to the Janatha Vimukti Peramuna. According to the media unit of the JVP, party leader Anura Kumara Disanaike has been appointed to the position of chief opposition whip.
In other news from Parliament, making a special statement in Parliament today, JVP National List MP Sarat Chandrasiri Mayadune resigned from his parliamentary seat.
ප්‍රධාන පක්ෂ දෙක මෙහි වූ රජයන්ට කුමන බරපතල දූෂණ හා අනිකුත් චෝදනා තිබුණත්
Regardless of whatever corruption or other allegations against the two main political parties representing governments, the overall voting pattern of the country has shown how the people have chosen to treat these as minor lapses. Therefore, it is clear to me that the people have not granted me the role of acting as a public representative to work against corruption in this honourable parliament. Those who should receive the highest votes haven't, whilst characters who shouldn't receive such high votes have. This clearly shows the people's aspirations. This departure of mine was not influenced by the JVP or its membership. Even at this moment, the party has stated that it anticipates that I would not resign.
The proposal to increase the number of cabinet ministers to 48 was passed in Parliament today. The motion was passed subsequent to a debate in Parliament. According to the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, the number of cabinet ministers should not exceed 30. It was Prime Minister Ranil Wickramasinghe who presented a proposal to Parliament seeking to enhance the cabinet under a national government. 143 votes were cast in favour of the proposal, while 16 votes were cast against.
In the meantime, the proposal to increase the number of cabinet ministers to 48 was taken up for debate in Parliament today amid a heated debate. The 19th Amendment to the Constitution reads that the number of cabinet ministers should not exceed 30. Prime Minister Ranil Wickramasinghe presented the proposal to the House.
A national government can only be brought about with the participation of all political parties in Parliament. This proposal is in violation of the Constitution. Therefore, we need to consult the Supreme Court for an interpretation. This proposal is in accordance with the Constitution. There is no point in reading only a certain section. You must read all 36 sections then. We are presenting this to this chamber to create a national government. There is an accord between the three parties and we have the opportunity to move forward. My argument is that the judiciary and the legislature are bound together. It is this Prime Minister who presented the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. He himself is attempting to violate it. This is not a positive thing to do. You cannot say all political parties are involved and seek an interpretation. What it means is one political party or a few. There is a puzzling situation. Honourable Speaker, please consult the Attorney General.
The increase in the number of ministries to achieve this does not seem to be in conformity with good governance. It would have been much better if the two parties were able to come together without an increase in the number of ministries. But unfortunately, we have a culture in this country which had become deeply entrenched in recent times, which has resulted in the number of ministries being enhanced through various devious processes, including, if I may say so with respect, the use of various considerations in order to buy over members of parliament. I think we should put an end to this culture.
What you are presenting is not a national government. An agreement was not signed for that. This needs to be taken before the Supreme Court or the Speaker must make a decision. The United People's Freedom Alliance has not signed an agreement to form a national government. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party is not a party represented in this chamber. A fraudulent proposal has been presented. Please do not accept this. Today in Sri Lanka we have the smallest government in the world. There are only 5 persons. The President, who is the chairman of the UPFA, the Prime Minister is the leader of the UNP. If this is not national, then what is? Parliament will be adjourned for 10 minutes. When Parliament reconvened, the Speaker announced his decision. It is my conclusion that in accordance with the Constitution, the accepted political party or independent group with the majority of seats in Parliament can form a national government with any accepted political party or group in Parliament.
The Prime Minister's proposal on the Cabinet of Ministers was taken up for debate this evening. Here are some of the views that were expressed during the debate.
All the political parties have a historic task that has been vested upon them. That is why the Prime Minister is proposing that the entire Parliament be made into a government. Autocracy, dictatorial decisions need to be removed. Therefore, it is my belief that it will be a great task if we move forward in unity and consensual understanding, identifying the bane and boon of everyone. President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe are inviting us all to form a national government. I personally feel that the country needs it.
Rather than opposing everything that is presented, let us give this an opportunity. If we make a mistake or if a mistake takes place, we as young parliamentarians will take a stand to oppose it, devoid of our party affiliations. Therefore, this concept needs to be given an opportunity.
We have experienced a setback in moving forward as a nation rich in its human resources and other resources. That is why we need to reconstruct the economy. We need to build a program that will develop all sectors. That is why a consensual government is required. The talented persons from all parties must be selected and they must be given responsibilities rather than positions. The aspiration of the Prime Minister is to create a government that will bring about benefits to society and the country.
This resolution should be supported by all. The 19th Amendment gave the option where if this House desires that we could increase the number of cabinet ministers, and that is what it is going to be achieved by this bipartisan approach. So therefore all members of this House should support the national government for the future prosperity of this country.
President Maithripala Sirisena has said that clean drinking water will be provided to areas plagued by kidney disease within the next 2 years. The President made this statement during an event held in Madirigiriya to mark the head of state's birthday.
A program was held today at the Sri Sudarshana Rama Vihara in Thalakola Vava, Madirigiriya, where a water filter was gifted to patients of kidney disease. The President noted at this event that since no nation in the world bears ill will towards the current government, major international assistance will be obtained for future development initiatives. All ministries are united today to take forward a nationwide program with the aim of preventing kidney diseases from occurring and the implementation of the necessary welfare in relation to this. With this program, our government hopes and intends to provide clean drinking water to the people living in the areas where kidney disease is prevalent within the next 2 years. Several programs were held in Polonnaruwa today to mark President Sirisena's birthday.
Fourth Magistrate Priyantha Liyanage permitted Tiran Alas to travel overseas.
Court had previously prohibited Tiran Alas from travelling overseas due to an ongoing investigation with regard to financial fraud at the Reconstruction and Development Agency, or RADA. Submitting a motion via his lawyers today, Tiran Alas sought permission to travel abroad to seek medical treatment. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court determined yesterday that there is no reasonable or justifiable cause to arrest Tiran Alas in connection with allegations against misappropriations at RADA. Dr. Salya Vikramasuriya, a prominent intellectual, was previously remanded in connection with transactions at RADA and was later released. Meanwhile, intellectuals say that it is counterproductive to pressurize learned people who have served the country over political and personal reasons.
In his address to the nation, President Maithripala Sirisena invited intellectuals and experts with Sri Lankan citizenship who are residing abroad to return to the country. It was mentioned that the red carpet would be rolled out to welcome them. I think this is a very good trend. Those who come to the country after being invited must be provided an enabling environment to serve. We are aware that in the recent past, Salya Vikramasuriya, a pioneer in deep-sea oil and gas exploration, was arrested for various financial reasons. Recently, a petition was filed at the Supreme Court regarding the possible arrest of Tiran Alas. Considering the petition, the Supreme Court noted that there was no justifiable cause for such an arrest. It is important to maintain financial discipline. However, when ensuring such discipline, it is important to mitigate any hardship or inconvenience caused to learned intellectuals, or it will be difficult to attract such people to Sri Lanka. If they are arrested with no charge, then it is an arbitrary arrest. They sacrifice a lot of wealth to come here. They sacrifice the high wages that they receive in those countries in order to come here. They sacrifice all the benefits and luxuries that they are given. In order to obtain their services, we must have proper policies in Sri Lanka. It is through this that we can move forward. We should not be causing them inconvenience and wrongfully assessing the service that they render.
Salya Vikramasuriya mahatmaya yam kisi avasthawaka.
Although Salya Vikramasuriya would be released by court, the harm to his reputation has already been done. It is extremely unjust, and we see it as abuse of the law. When a false complaint is lodged or an arrest is made for unsubstantiated reasons, under Section 17, Part 2 of the Code of Criminal Procedures, they should receive compensation from the plaintiff or from the police officers involved in the wrongful arrest. They are able to seek such redress through our laws. As lawyers, we do not in any way condone the use of the law to hunt down rivals.
සුදුසු කාරණයක් විදියට නීතිවේදීන් විදියට අපි දකින්නේ නැහැ.
විරුද්ධවාදීන් දඩයම් කිරීම.
We can see that their new program is to hunt down, corner and pressurize their opponents. They are harassing people using various methods by arresting them at the hint of any suspicion, remanding them without bail for extended periods and wasting their time under the guise of so-called questioning. This hunt or program that they are carrying out against their opponents is truly disgraceful. It is good if they think about what would happen if they had to face the same hardships they are causing to others. When you come to the end of all of it, it has all been for naught. There is no result and no charges filed.
ඒවයි කිසිම ඉන් පසුව ඇතිවන ප්‍රතිඵලයක් චෝදනාවක් නැහැ.
The President's media unit says that the new cabinet will be sworn in tomorrow. The swearing-in ceremony will take place at the Presidential Secretariat. Still in local news, manager of Division 2 of the Western Province of the Lanka Security Services, Major Chanaka Pereira, accepted that security officers of the organization were deployed for campaigning activities prior to the last presidential election. He made this remark while giving evidence before the Special Presidential Commission of Inquiry into large-scale corruption and fraud.
Evidence was heard before the Special Presidential Commission of Inquiry into large-scale corruption and fraud relating to activities of the Lanka Security Services. The inquiry took place at the BMICH. Former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa, CEO of Lanka Security Services, its chairman, former Minister Rohitha Bogolagama, former parliamentarian Duminda Silva, Western Provincial Minister Upali Kodikara, Mayor of Devala Mount Lavinia, Dhanasi Ramarathunga, and Mayor of Kotte Janaka Ranavaka were summoned before the Commission today. The Commission was represented by 4 High Court judges and a former Auditor General, and officers of the Lanka Security Services were questioned today.
Evidence was heard between 9:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. today. We concluded hearings for the day. We have summoned Gotabaya Rajapaksa at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. I intend to fulfill my responsibilities towards the Commission. I was not questioned today.
The 8th Kamala Sabesan Memorial Oration was held in Colombo today.
The 8th Annual President's Council KC Kamala Sabesan Memorial Oration, organized by the Kamala Sabesan Foundation, was held this evening at the Bar Association Auditorium. The late President's Council Kamala Sabesan held the office of the Attorney General of Sri Lanka.
Though every individual is entitled to, and rightly so, to his or her political affiliations and beliefs, have these affiliations and beliefs led us to undermine and sacrifice the core principles of the rule of law and democracy? The impermanent and transient benefits we receive due to political patronage have sometimes held sway, despite such benefits emanating from the resource of the state and therefore belonging to the people. Why is it that in litigation of a political nature or with such undertones, it is often predictable as to who will appear to protect a particular political interest? Is such a pattern due to a conviction that we as professionals are truly advocating or defending what we genuinely perceive as right and in the interests of justice?
You're watching News First. JVP leader and chief opposition whip Anurakumara Disanayake raised questions in Parliament today regarding hardships faced by paddy farmers.
Farmers have been forced to queue up for weeks in order to sell their stocks of paddy. They do not have their own mechanisms to transform the paddy into rice. This is because the paddy from the last Maha season is still in the storage facilities. If there is nothing that can be done with the Matala airport, then there is no problem in turning it into a paddy storage facility. But in the first place, has any feasibility study been conducted to determine that no use can be made of the Matala airport, which was built at a cost of billions from public funds? Honourable Speaker, we propose that it is unjust to use resources on which billions of state funds have been spent for the narrow agendas of the political authorities. We are paying a maximum price to farmers for their paddy. As a result of the record harvest, farmers brought their harvest in unprecedented numbers to the 180 centres established across the country. This caused queues and congestion. We have utilised our optimum strength to resolve this. We are subjecting the Mahinda Rajapaksa International Airport to limited usage. There is no sign of an increase in aircraft currently arriving at the airport, and there are no signs that it will increase in the coming months. We will hold discussions and are hoping to reap some mid-term benefits from this airport, but we were made to temporarily use the airport facilities for the storage of paddy. This surplus was witnessed in previous years as well. Although the surplus existed, a situation like the present was not allowed to arise. I did not want to speak about the past. I have plenty of files to talk about how we are going to face this in the future. That is all. If you want to go back to the past, then go. This parliament is meeting only for 8 days. If you want, you can use these premises when we are not in session to store paddy. For shame. Are you not ashamed to waste an international airport in this way? Honourable Speaker, we will grant the House a separate debate on the Matale Airport.
Several world leaders are facing growing pressure to take in more of the many thousands of migrants fleeing to Europe.
That's right. Now it comes after a picture of a dead boy washed up on Bodrum beach in Turkey sparked international outcry over the crisis.
10,000 Icelanders have offered to welcome Syrian refugees into their homes as part of a Facebook campaign launched by a prominent author after the government said it would only take in a handful.
The following report contains images that viewers may find distressing.
So we have currently an unprecedented wave of refugees, the largest since the Second World War, coming mainly from the Syrian crisis, but also from places like Libya and North Africa. And probably over the last few months, because of challenges in Europe, you're now finding a whole wave of people coming across to find a better place in Europe. And as a consequence, Europe is struggling with a massive refugee crisis. People are now taking to boats to actually trying to get across to Greece, and then from Greece into Central Europe. And this is an issue that will not go away for a while and has been there for some time as well.
In sports news tonight, Sri Lanka Cricket announced this evening that it has decided to accept the resignation of head coach Marwan Athapaththu. Former Sri Lanka Test and ODI captain Marwan Athapaththu took over the reins as head coach following the resignation of English national Paul Fabres last year. At the time, Athapaththu was already serving as the national team's batting coach. Athapaththu was selected as head coach for a period of 1 year on the 19th of September last year.